This is what Saban has said. What he's hearing from NFL coaches is that players are coming in less developed with more entitlements and less resilient to overcome adversity. Wow. Players are coming in less developed, more entitlements, and less prepared to overcome adversity. My name's Thomas Fanner. I'm the founder of Dads Who Lead. My mission is to equip you to become the trusted and revered leader of your home. If you're new here, hit the subscribe to stay up to date on our latest content. Let's hop back to the video. So let's talk about these for a minute. In Dads Who Lead, we talk about skill development a lot. It is a major anchor in what we need to prepare our kids for, because we know that schools are not going to prepare our kids for the road ahead. Point blank. Schools aren't getting it done. They're going to give them some important skills of how to be on time, how to follow specific directions, how to be part of a team. These things are good to know. Not that they cannot be learned other places, but we've got to be aware of what is and isn't being taught, right? And what isn't being taught is how to separate yourself from the crowd, to become dominant, to create an unfair advantage. Unfair advantages are seen as oppressive in the school system. Like, man, you get to start with 10 steps ahead of everybody else. Well, that's not fair. How can we pull everybody else up? Better question would be, how can we put this guy that's ahead in more positions like this, where he is 10 steps ahead? This is the game that he needs to be playing, but this is where his skills are. Whatever got him to where he's 10 steps ahead of everybody else, let's keep running that on repeat, because he's great at whatever facet of the game that we're working on. So skill development is really finding that gap. And I believe as young men and women grow, often they believe, and it maybe comes from us as parents, that, based on my age, I should be capable of certain things or not, as opposed to a skill level. I talked to a dad yesterday whose 13-year-old daughter has a job and is generating income for herself, working 20 hours a week. And it just goes to show you that he didn't put limits on, you're only 13, not old enough. Like, no, if you have the maturity and skills and ability to add value now, let's give you that responsibility. Let's give you that privilege. Let's give you that opportunity. You're 16. Just because you're 16 doesn't mean you have the skills to drive a car. It just means that you are of an eligible age, that if you did have the skills, you would be able to have a license. So we've got to be really aware of our skills or lack of skills, because what often happens is kids get to 18 years old, graduate from high school, or 22 years old and graduate from college, and they look up and say, what's the skill that I have to add value to others? And if it's only making a coffee, then we've got a problem, because we spent our last 12 to 16 years supposedly developing skills to be able to add value to others that aren't there or aren't able to be captured. So skill development, where are your kids, where they need to be, what's the skill gap? Because if they've got amazing skills, they're going to be crushing it. Okay, delayed gratification or more entitlement. I think we talked about this a little bit already in this episode, about kids showing up to the PE class and thinking they'll be able to do what they want, having that delayed gratification. And I think that's very important for us to take ownership of within our home, is delayed gratification. Yes, you can mow the lawn and rake the leaves and earn $40. But what does it look like if you're going to commit to something over time? Are you going to, let's just come to a wrestling example is coming to mind. You come in as a wrestler, you don't know anything. You're getting your ass kicked for the first couple months, and finally, after a while, you start to put some things together and start stacking some wins. But there's a delayed gratification. There's a period of really struggling before you have that success. That's a very important thing that we, again, warning shots across our bow that Nick Saban is giving us. We need to make sure our kids are prepared in the ability to delay gratification. Less resilient to overcome adversity. Yeah, this is the NFL saying Nick Saban. Nick Saban is resonating with this. Kids are coming out of college football, which, man, I think about that as a very adverse and challenging environment from my time being there. And I know the NFL is a whole nother level up. But that ability to deal with this is hard, and we're going to show up and push no matter what. Now, think about the balance of this. You've got kids getting paid to train. If you feel like, man, there is a culture of how can I get paid for the least effort possible. If you're working really hard and you're trying to win that championship, that's going to look a lot different than we're working really hard and we're going to get paid. And if we win, we win. But I'm looking out for myself first. It's very different than we're on a mission and we're doing it not for mother and country or the dollar on the back end, but for your brother next to you to win as a team. That's very, very different. So overcoming that adversity, being able to be put in positions that are difficult and to drive forward. This sounds small, right? But adversity doesn't always look the same. Adversity for my sons is very different than adversity for my daughters. And this is what I mean by that. Charles, if he was put in a hard workout situation that was challenging, he'll crush it. Like, man, this is tough. I can do all right. I told him one time he was late for class. He was late to class. Said, all right, you got, I think I had him do 300 push-ups in an hour. Something like that. He's like, oh, that's not hard. He's just pushing, cranking out. Oh, yeah, I got this. But then if it's something detail-oriented, hey, make sure as you're putting dishes away, they're stacked in this way, in this order, and dishes are finished at this time. That is more adversity than something that's just hard. For my daughters, my daughter Maddie, who's 4, she'll remember details that blow my mind about something that happened 3 weeks ago. Like, hey, Dad, do you remember when we went to the park and we met my friend Layla, and then she had the Minnie Mouse sweatshirt and we went on the swings together? Oh, that was so fun. We should meet up with her again. Wow. Where did that attention to detail come from? So for my girls, attention to detail is very naturally a strength. For my son, it's more of a weakness. So adversity, being put in those positions where you feel stuck or challenged, it can look like different things. So we need to make sure when we look at overcoming adversity, it's not just about pushing through hard things. Yes, that's a component of it, but we also need to be able to zoom out and look at attention to detail and the other components that we need to be successful with. So less developed, more entitled, less resilient to overcome adversity. If your kids have those 3 things, doesn't matter if they're going to the NFL or starting their own business, those things are going to help them if they're able to have delayed gratification, have a learner's mindset of growing all the time, and know that they're going to run into challenges and be able to push through it and know that that's part of the process. If you've enjoyed this video, smash the like, hit the subscribe, and if you have a teenage son or daughter, I have a free leadership quiz. It will give you a full breakdown of your leadership style, your superpowers, as well as common gaps within your leadership profile that will help you elevate your leadership to the next level. It is 100% free. It's my gift to you as a welcome to the Dads Who Lead community, and we will see you in the next episode.